What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for a post-game live show for our latest result against Cagliari. Last game also before an international break. I think it's the last international break uh, for this year. Probably it's gonna be the last international break, but we got a win. We got another win. I think that's five in a row now. Wins. Could that be five in a row? No, it could not be because we didn't beat Atalanta, but we won. We won again, which we have been doing lately. We're first in the league as of now. Inter still need to play tomorrow. If they win, they go 2 points clear of us again. But you got the win. Like you got what you needed to do. What everybody expects us to do, especially at home against these type of teams from now until the end of the season, basically, is getting these wins out of the way. And we got the win. At the end of the day, we got the win, and we're gonna discuss that. If you're new, like and subscribe. Even if you're not new, just like, but subscribe if you're new. And yeah, let's go because it's not gonna be a very long live because there's not much really to discuss. If I'm being completely honest, with this result because we got the win, and that's a very positive thing. Us getting these type of wins at home. Keep that streak alive, keep that momentum alive, especially heading into the international break. Like you cannot go into an international break with the thought of okay, we didn't beat Cagliari at home, and now we need to come back from the international break and we need to play Inter at home. So the positive is that we beat them and we play Inter at home after international break rather than away from home. Um, the win is important. The way we got the win is maybe not like we deserve to win that game. At the end of the day, you deserve to win that game, even if it's by fine margins. However, my preview, I said, okay, you had some not dodge, like you had some scrapey wins. Like if you didn't beat Atalanta, but you should have probably lost. You beat Milan with 10 men with a deflected goal without creating anything, to be honest. Then you played that type of game against Fiorentina, and I was like, okay, now you play a very poor side at home. You need to make kind of a statement, and you kind of need to put them with their backs against the wall. And we never did that, especially in that first half. That was a very bleak performance. It wasn't much to report on. It was very slow. It was very predictable. There was no movement up top, and it was frustrating to a point where Cali were the dangerous team, the most dangerous team in that first half, and we created nothing. Like we had 0 shots on target again, and it looked like it's going to be an extremely frustrated second half. Second half, we put some more intensity in it, especially at the start of it. We tried to pin them down. We controlled that game most of the part, and we created a lot of corners, not chances, corners, which is good. You score from 2 corners, you take that. However, I think people are short-minded when I say I want to create more chances. You get the standard answer of scoring from set pieces is also chances and goals. I never claimed they were not. Like not once did I say I don't count those. It's just that's not gonna save you throughout the season. That's not gonna help you every single week. It's doing right now, but it's not gonna sustain because we've seen that in the past, and with the past I mean last year. Like we've seen this. Well, we've been in this situation, so it's not something that's far fetched, whatever. We don't create enough chances, and when you say that, people say, "Oh, if Keane controlled that ball well, that would have been a chance." And if Chiesa scored, that would have been a chance of open play. That was a scrappy goal, whatever. But technically, yes. However, again, short-minded. I'm talking about periods, not games, months, weeks, years at this point, that we look very out of our depth going forward to a point where I forgot Chiesa was playing. I really do. I forgot Chiesa was playing. And that's a very bad thing because he's your best player in that squad. He is your most talented player in that team. And he looks completely lost for weeks now. You know, He does. Like he looks like he is a youngster just thrown in there to do a thing. He looks really bad, Chiesa, and it's not all his fault. And we've been there last season when we talked about Vlahovic and whatever, and now Keane gets a start, and Keane was poor in my opinion. It fluctuates. It fluctuates. At times, I'm like, okay, you need to do better personally, but at times I'm as well like this is to a point where if all our attackers are struggling, then what does that tell you? And I asked that question, and you get the answer of, ah, he has an average attack. He's making the most out of it. He didn't want Vlahovic, he want Morata. At what planet do you think that Morata would have solved the issues up front? That's just ridiculous to think. Also, because he had Morata, and we still look poor, up to a point where we spent plus 70 million mid-season to replace Morata because he was dreadful. Morata is having his best season, most consistent season so far at age 31, and people are telling me not having Morata is why Allegri is struggling up top. That's absolutely wild, shocking. On top of that, he is the highest paid coach in the league, and you're telling me he needs Morata because he cannot work with Chiesa, Keane, what he wanted, Milik, who he wanted, Vlahovic. That's absolutely shocking as a statement in terms of excuse making for the lack of progress because he had Morata and we stank out the place. Like, I think people forget that when we were at Morata, we were complaining about the same things. We had the same issues. The only difference is the chances that fell to Morata, he messed up in a very embarrassing way at times. I don't know if people remember that stretch before we signed Morata, Vlahovic, where Morata was missing tap-ins, and it were real tap-ins week in, week out. It's time to stop making excuses for a guy who has won it all, basically, on a lot of money, and you're telling me we look like this because that attacking front line is not good. Is it world class? No. It doesn't need to be world class. It doesn't need to be world class to set up something more respectable. Is Frosinone's front line world class? Is Brighton's front line world class? Like, name it. No, they're not. But they look not. They look not out of their depth. They do. Like, if anyone has the time and the mental strength to do so, rewatch that first half and just focus on Chiesa. And you're gonna sit back and you're like, wow, that's extremely sad to watch him out there and play in a way that a player of his caliber should never play. But that's just what's happening now. Salk is saying, I'm happy that Max has the team playing for each other after 2 years finally. Get the Grinta back. Only way attacking will improve is getting technical midfielders in the winter. I agree with that first part. Everybody's on the front page. On one page, everybody is pulling in the same direction, which I said midweek. Finally, it took him 3 years almost, but everybody is pulling in the same direction. We need better midfielders or more diverse midfielders. I agree with that. But that cannot be an excuse for the last 3 years. Like, come on. Like, let's not. He wanted, but he got players he wanted. How many players does he need? Like, does he need to handpick before he finally makes it click? Because we've seen Locatelli play at Sassuolo. He looks half of that player now. He had a stinker of a game. He was terrible again. However, he played well at Sassuolo. Like, he can play. He plays Rabiot. He wants Rabiot. So we cannot turn around then and complain, I agree what you're saying. However, we have players up top that look poor even in the most basic things they do. First touch, laying it off, playing a simple pass, picking up the right guy, making the right decisions. He came out and they were saying we need to make the right decisions in the final third. He's been saying that for, I'm going to go out on a limb, 2 years, year and a half. At what point is he going to be like, okay, this is not going to pop? Like, these players are not going to make the right decisions out of their own good, on the field. certain things needs to be drilled into the players. How to run, who needs to make the run, how you receive a ball in certain areas, who do you play in certain areas, like who do you pass it to. It looks all over the shop. So he can come out and say we need to make better decisions, which fair. However, if this is happening ongoing for 2 years, then it's not about decision making. It's about coaching. It's about these players having no idea what to do. And we know that for a fact because Allegri said he gives his players freedom up top. It's clear that's not working. It's clear these players need a direction. It's up to you, 9 million a season, to give these players a direction. Because moving forward, there is no direction at all. Absolutely not whatsoever. Like we fluke it sometimes where you're like, wow, and then it's gone for 90 minutes. That's a fluke. Because if you have patterns, you can see it throughout 90 minutes. No matter how tough the opponent you're playing, you will see, bits and pieces of it. We don't now. We absolutely do not. So it's a win. I'll take the win, obviously, but like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, this is great," whatever, or this is. I can ignore everything that's happening on the pitch because you can. You just can. Um, when Allegri said what he said about McKennie, I was laughing. I couldn't believe he said that. I'm actually shocked that Allegri said that. I'm not gonna lie, he's right. But usually he doesn't say these things publicly. And I've been saying it for, I don't know, years now, and I got slated for it, for not rating McKennie. And I've said McKennie's playing well this season compared to his own previous standard. That's what I've been saying. Not compared to the standard required at this club, because he's playing positions you need much more productivity and output out of it. Like, it's not even close, the output you need in positions he's playing. Not this game, but in previous games. So I'm not going to hype it up to a point where I'm like, oh, this is amazing, because it's not amazing at the end of the day, And when Allegri came out and he said that, I was like, wow. I cannot believe he said that, because usually he keeps a very low profile. He basically said what I said. Technically, he is bad, McKennie. Like, he's not good technically. He has no technical ability. If you put him under pressure, it looks really bad. However, this season, he has improved that. Like, I'll give him credit. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. He did. I've been saying it for weeks now. He has improved technically. It's still not great, whatever. And when he needs to put a good cross in or make that final decision, at times he doesn't have the facilities for it. But when he said that, he told McKennie that, you know what, you will make up for technical mistakes just by the physicality you bring to the game and the grinta and whatever. I was like, wow. Like, that's what I've been saying all along. And then you have people saying, oh, we have Conte, Deschamps, Vidal in the team, and they were also not good technical. And I cannot believe that I read that. I cannot believe that's actually a statement, because that's crazy to compare his technical ability with a player like Vidal, for example. That's crazy. Also, if you want to compare hardworking and you put him in the same sentence as Vidal, that's mad. Vidal was one of the best midfielders at one point in Europe. McKennie is not even the best midfielder in the squad, let alone in Europe. Like, that's absolutely wild. Like, absolutely craziness. But that's actually the excuses that are being made for certain moments. Because McKennie is not good technically, fine, he's hardworking, but put him in the same sentence as Conte, Deschamps, Vidal, name it. That's just wow. Like, I can, like, everybody has his own opinion, but wow, like, absolutely wow. Even the hardworking ability, you cannot compare to those guys, because that was on an extremely different level. And on top of that, Davids was in the list. Those players had good technical abilities. Like, Vidal's technical ability was very, very good. To put him in those categories is just wow. Like, that's the level we are at in 23 at this club. And hey, everybody's own opinion. Everybody can have his own say. Everybody can, have his own, I don't know, like, dream for this Juve. But that ain't it for me, man. Like, that's absolutely not it. Like, if that's the future of this club, that I need to come on and hype up McKennie every week because he works hard, but I need to forget his poor technical ability, I'm like, that's wild. Like he keeps it clean this season, but like it's not wow. It's like it's very basic, and he's hardworking. I will give him that. And this season, compared to his previous season, he is much better, 110%. But to make certain statements, to compare him to certain players, and say certain things is wow, crazy. Some people think technical ability step overs. Some do. If he is not being put under pressure and he has space, he will make the right decision. But when he's in certain areas of the pitch, you can see he has no idea what to do with it, and that's not. How do you want to say that? Like I'm not gonna like if I need to say that about Chiesa, I will be mad, and I will go wild because Chiesa is technically very good and he needs to do better. McKennie is who he is. So I'm not gonna really slate him for that, but I'm also not gonna brush that aside and be like, oh, I'll give him a break on that. I'll forget about that. No, because he's playing in certain areas that needs to be much better. Again, he's not the biggest problem at this moment this season. Like ongoing, moving forward, yeah, like like shouldn't be out there, especially not in certain areas of the pitch. But we won, and we got 2 goals, 2 set piece goals, 2 center back goals, which kind of summed up the game. Even the Cagliari goal, and I'm happy for Rugani as well. Happy for Bremer, who's having a very very good season overall. Yeah, one really poor game. I think it was against wasn't Milan. No, it wasn't Milan. It was a game before that, I think, where he was a bit all over the shop. But overall, he's having a very good season, Bremer. And I'm happy. Like I'm happy we got the 3 points because we needed that win. Like at the bare minimum, I was hoping for a different performance. That didn't, happen. So I kind of need to deal with it basically at this point. But you got the 3 points. You go top of the league as of now. You need to wait on Inter. They play Frosinone at home. They will beat them quite easily. So it's match point. When we come back and you play Inter at home, it's match point. But you can win against Inter the way we play. You can close up shop, create that one chance, and beat Inter. You can do that on any given day. Like it can happen. However, it seems very unlikely that you're gonna do that against this Inter side because they create a lot. They do. They can put pressure on you, and I think you need to go toe to toe in terms of you need to create a lot of chances or good chances against Inter. You need to play a different type of game compared to what you did against Fiorentina, even to Milan at a certain extent. You need to come out of your shell a little bit if you want to beat Inter. Again, you can close up shop and you can fluke a win with a corner and Chesney playing a mad game. However, moving forward, it needs to be improved. And forget about what Allegri is saying. Oh, we need to maintain points on the 5th position. It's getting to a point where it's a bit embarrassing now. Like I get putting the pressure away from the club, whatever team. But at this point, come on, like let's not do this. Don't make the statements about we need to look at 5th place. Like, no, we do not, because this team is good enough just to get into the top 4 compared to the teams in Serie A at this moment in time. Milan look terrible. They look worse than what they should be looking at. Napoli are not the team they were last season. Lazio are poor. Roma poor. Atalanta will be up and down. Like you shouldn't be making these statements now. Like it was all fun and games. Now it's over. Like you are in a different position, and that's a position you should be in at the bare minimum. So it's not about look at 5th place. No, now you need to look up. You need to start looking up, because looking down at this moment in time should not be a thing. Because if you need to start looking down, then you're doing a terrible job. Like because you're in the league now at this moment in time with a bunch of terrible teams. You are, fighting for those four places. So there's no need to look down, obviously, because if you start looking down, that means you're having an issue, like a big issue, because you shouldn't be in that situation. So time to look up now a little bit. And we play Inter after the break, and that's going to be massive, obviously. Like, forget about the positions in the league. Just in general, that game, playing Inter, is a big game. Always will be a big game. So we need to kind of prepare for that mentally. with some question marks. He made a statement about Keane and Vlahovic, saying, "Oh, Keane is in a better shape now. Vlahovic probably will be in a couple of months." And I'm like, I don't like these type of things. Well, like you need to have a starting pairing, and Vlahovic is fit, and you need to make it work now because we play once a week, and I just want a stable first team. And if you make subs, I get it, injuries, and that's all good, suspensions and whatever. But overall, you need to have a starting 11, which he's kind of having now. But now he's switching it up top, which I found a bit strange. But again, overall, 3 points. Yeah, not complaining about the 3 points. Just long term, this is it's still tough. Like I'm not excited to watch a game. I'll watch every single minute, preseason, friendlies, like you name it. I'll watch every single game, from minute 1 to minute 90. However, I'm not looking forward to it. I will look forward to the Inter game is just because we play Inter, but I'm not looking forward to, okay, this is gonna be exciting, because winning is fun, but it needs to be something about it. We need to see something more, a little bit more, like something to look forward to, something to see. Okay, there's progress, because compared to taking back to 3 years ago, what really changed in terms of how we approach game? What really changed? Not much, in my opinion. Not much, because we had moments where we were good defensively and winning games. We had moments where we were all over the place. We had moments where we look good moving forward. So it's a bit hot and cold, and that's just remains my main issue. Keep in mind, we were playing Cagliari at home today, relegation side. I don't know. I wasn't fully convinced about it, but we will talk about all the Inter stuff in the next 2 weeks. I will do preview shows with the Inter channel, so stay tuned for that as well. But it's actually good. The international break is here now. For once, I need a break. A 1 week kind of breakish from watching us, and then 1 week to build up to that big Inter game 2 weeks from now, basically. So that's that. I'm gonna wrap this one up because again, not really much to say on this game. It is what it is at this point. We got the win, but not really much to talk about. In games, in game moments, whatever. I'm gonna wrap this one up. Like the video, subscribe. I will not be live tomorrow, Sunday, but I will be live on Monday for the breakdown. And then, as I'm solo on the channel, I will do Monday, Sunday, Friday. Is going to be the live shows from now on moving forward, unless we play on a different day, whatever. But that's going to be trying to make that the fixed live spots for this for the channel now moving forward. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, trying to go that way. That's it for me. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys